Hey everyone, how you doing today? My name's Kirsty, aka Beth Bookish, and I'm bringing you part 2 of recommending books based off of your favourite Genshin Impact character. Part 1 of this video was forever ago, like well over a year, if not 2 years ago, so this has been a long time coming, but it means that we now have way more characters to choose from. When I first did this, we had something like 50 characters. Now there is a roster of 81. I'm not going to go through every single one of those, partly because some of them are characters I don't really know because I've not really followed it. Some of them are characters I just really don't like and therefore I'm not interested in and don't really have recommendations because I'm not really interested in. Some of them are because they are awkward buggers that I have tried to find books for and am currently struggling to find books for. Risley. So I've selected a few. Some are new favourites that I've fallen in love with since I did this the last time. Some have been recommended and requested by Max and Ren. And then the rest are just ones that I thought of as I was going. I was like, oh, that's an idea. I am then going to recommend a book either that reflects their personality or something about them that I feel that if you like this character and their story and what they represent, you will probably enjoy reading this book. And I decided to kickstart this with the fantastic trio of siblings, Linny, Lynette and Fremine. Starting off with Linny, I have chosen Ace of Shades by Amanda Foody. This is a series of books that is set in a world that's kind of inspired by Las Vegas, and it has kind of like this flashy, showy, casino type-esque place. It's got a main character who has this really flamboyant showman business persona, but behind all that is a guy who is actually working for a not so great person and has kind of been manipulated into doing not great things. And if that doesn't sound like Linny, I don't know what is. But Levi, he even has a name that starts L and ends in E. Levi. Linny, Levi. This book, it's the perfect fit. And it has that kind of circus casino vibe to it. It's also got some gangster dynamics. It's even got like Linny's colour scheme with the red and black. It's just so Linny coded. It's unreal. Now for Lynette, I've gone for another one that's like a circus performance theme, but it's way more it's a softer, gentler book, and it's a little bit more on the vibes and atmospheric side rather than action and stuff going on. And that is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I feel like that fits Lynette because of the trio, even though Fremine's the shy, quiet one, she's more the quiet, reflective, takes her time, thinks things through. Not quite the brains behind them all, but she just is that kind of glue that brings them together. And she doesn't take the centre stage. She is the performer. But where Linny is like the ringmaster, she's the one that just sort of quietly in the background makes sure everything happens. And I just feel like her vibes and her temperament fits the vibes and the feel when reading The Night Circus. And then rounding off the trio of siblings, we have Fremine. And for this one, I have chosen, based solely off of Ren and their favourites and things that they've said about this book, I've gone with The Luminous Deep purely because of the diving aspect. Fremine spends a lot of his time diving. He is a diver, and one of the storylines that we have with him in particular, I'm not going to say exactly what happens, but there is a bit of a perilous moment. We follow him through a sort of dive that goes wrong, and I feel like that fits the vibes of this book, where this book sets place underwater and it's got all the diving aspect, and then when things start going wrong and kind of like that knowledge of if things go wrong and you're on your own under the water, what are you going to do? I just feel that it links to that part in particular of Fremine's story really, really well. From characters that are very new to the roster to a character who has been there since virtually day one, and from the very first version when the game was released, we now have little Wolfie, Razor. Razor was raised by wolves and he acts very wolfish and he is just everyone's favourite wolf boy. And he was one that was requested by Max and Ren. They both wanted to see what I'd come up with him. And Ren, you will be extremely happy to see that I've gone with Wolf Song for him. Because Ox is taken in by a pack of wolves and basically becomes a wolf. I haven't finished reading this yet myself, but at this point in the book, he is basically identifies as a wolf without being a wolf. He is very wolfish in his actions. And I just feel that, you know, the whole concept of being raised by wolves, he basically, from the age of 16, was raised by wolves. So, you know, wolf boy for the wolf boy. Another one that was requested specifically by Max and is another one that takes us back to the very origins of the game. And I think it's like the second or third character in the entire game that you are introduced to. And that is your boy Kaeya, you know, the frosty alcoholic boy with daddy issues. And honestly, even though he is not a pirate and he is not a captain and he doesn't run a ship, you cannot tell me that he does not match the vibes of Thorn. The sass, the sarcasm, the snark, doing anything to get someone to do the job so he doesn't have to do it himself. It's the same person. Also, if you've ever watched She-Ra Princesses of Power, I also feel he's very Seahawk coded. I just feel like Kaeya and Thorn would be a match made in heaven and a match made in hell if you are anyone but Kaeya and Thorn, and would be the perfect fit. And so that's why I recommend the Lunar Chronicles, and specifically Thorn, if you are interested in Kaeya. From Mondstadt to Liyue, we are going to the Archon of the whole of Liyue, which is Zhongli. For Zhongli, I have gone with another book that I didn't finish and didn't enjoy, but fits him so well, and that is Priory of the Orange Tree. Now, there are multiple reasons I've chosen this for him. First of all, this is a chunky big book that is stuffed full of world building and history. And what is Zhongli if not a guy that can talk for hours and hours and hours and hours about the different history and all of his adventures throughout time? He gives you so many history lessons and he gives so many anecdotes about his past. Zhongli could write an entire 5,000 page tome on the history of all of his adventures and everything, and you just know that he would fill a book. Plus, dragons? So yeah, there are multiple reasons why I feel like that, and the book's gold, and what is Zhongli if not to do with gold and Mora? It is just the perfect match, and it is the perfect book for him. Speaking of our Archons and going across from Liyue into the world of Sumeru, we have Nahida baby. That's what I call her. She's my Nahida baby. But Nahida, who is the Archon of Sumeru, she is so sweet, so lovely, so innocent. The book I have chosen for her is This Poison Heart by Kaylin Bayron. I've chosen this one not necessarily because of like the poison and the plants and stuff like that, because that doesn't really go for Nahida, but having Nahida's origin story is quite in-depth, it's quite complicated, and it's also quite sad. And when you go through her storyline, you realise there's a lot more darkness there and a lot more deeper things, and it goes way deeper than you think and for a lot longer. And that's kind of the same as what happens with Brysis in This Poison Heart, when she starts to uncover that her family secrets don't just go back a couple of generations, they go back hundreds and thousands of years. I feel that that theme matches with Nahida, and Brysis and Nahida, with the emotions that they go through, are kind of similar, where they're realising things about themselves that they never knew. And I feel like that is definitely very reflective of the experience that we go through in Nahida's storyline. So that's why I will recommend This Poison Heart for Nahida. And then heading over to Inazuma, because that's the only place I haven't yet talked about. And we have got Toma, for whom I have chosen The Way of the House Husband. Not only because Toma is basically like Tatsu in that He is really good at anything to do with domesticated tasks. They have got it. But also, you cannot convince me that Toma is not secretly like the head of some sort of Yakuza type domesticated god thing. He's just, you know, a word from him and he can just shut down your operation. And I just feel like he and Tatsu's way more sort of extreme with it and definitely still has that Yakuza vibe. But you cannot tell me that there is not a deep, dark Yakuza side to Toma somewhere. He's just too good. He's just too effective and too loyal and too good. There's got to be a dark side to him. And I just feel like he and Tatsu are very, like, two sides of the same coin. I just feel like the vibes that you get with Toma, you would get very similar vibes in here. And I think you would have a great time reading this if you enjoy playing Toma. Next up, we have all of the X's. I literally have 4 characters whose names all start with X in this next section. First up, we have Zhao, who is a really complicated character, but also a very tragic character. And I feel that a book for him would be Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa, mostly because of the relationship between Hokaimano, who's the demon, and the guy who is the demon hunter and who has a sword that has got Hokaimano's spirit trapped inside of it. And basically every time he wields the sword, Hokaimano tries to take over his spirit. So every time he draws the sword to protect people, he's also fighting off a demon inside of him. Do you not think that maybe he and Zhao need to attend therapy together? Because I think they do. So yeah, definitely if you like Zhao's story and his sort of the connection with him and like that sort of demonic evil spirit, Shadow of the Fox is perfect for that. Then we have one of our newer characters who is one that she's new to the roster, not new to the game, because we all knew her originally as Cloud Retainer, but now that she has taken on a human form and entered the world of the mortals, she is Zhanyan, and she is an immortal who has decided to come and live a mortal life because she wants to see more of the world and experience more of what the humans and stuff go through. And I felt that fit Shanghai Immortal really well, because Lady Jing has always been an immortal. She lives in the immortal realm, but she's always wanted to experience the mortal realm. And then during this book, she gets the opportunity to. And because of the way things are in the immortal realm, when she comes to the immortal realm, when she comes to the mortal realm, she's seen as very kind of immature and childish and doesn't always react in the way that you would expect someone of her age to. And I feel that really clicks as well with Cloud Retainer, because she's just so out of touch with mortals that she doesn't always realise how she's supposed to act. So I feel those two have parallels with each other. Then we have our favourite chef, Xiangling, and with Xiangling, I have chosen Cafe Con Lychee because Xiangling likes to play around with new recipes. She plays around with ingredients that aren't always seen as traditional and sometimes are seen as outright insane, but they always seem to work. And I feel like that works with this book because we have 2 characters from 2 very different backgrounds, and in order to save both of their family restaurants, they end up working together and fusing their 2 different cultures and foods together to try and gain more interest and try and keep their family shops open. It was a really awesome story, and I just love the fact that both Xiangling and this book centre around food and that idea of bringing together foods that you wouldn't necessarily always think to put together and having it work out. So I feel like that would be a really good one to read if you love Xiangling. And also it's got summery, it's bright yellow, it's just got such a fun summery vibe to it, and Xiangling is just a ray of sunshine herself, so I just feel like it's the perfect book for her. And then our final X is Xingqiu, and Xingqiu is basically a young man who loves books, loves reading, loves anything to do with literature and literary things, and spends all of his free time pretty much reading. He also has duties and to attend through his family, and he takes those very seriously, and he takes his roles very seriously. while he's also trying to read and expand on his literary knowledge. I feel like this one would fit the book Sorcery of Thorns, because Elizabeth in this works in a library where they have sentient books, and her job is to protect the books and protect the library. And it's a book about books, and there's a lot of talks about all the different books and what they can do. You just know that if Xingqiu was in there, he would be the curator of the books, and you know that he would be there to protect them. And that link with like honouring his duty and things like that, I just feel like he would fit in that world so well. And you can't really talk about Xingqiu without talking about his best buddy Chongyin. And with Chongyin, he is this exorcist. He is full of yang, so he tries to do things like he wears light coloured clothing. His element is ice. He eats ice creams and ice lollies all the time to try and balance out all of that yang energy inside of him. But he takes his role very seriously. He's always trying to improve himself, and he's not always appreciative of the teasing and joking and lightheartedness of his best friend Xingqiu. And I felt this reflected really well in the character of Yuki from Blue Exorcist. Xingqiu and Chongyin give me Rin and Yuki vibes, because they are twins and they polar opposites, and I feel it's the same with these two. So I definitely feel like, because Yuki is an exorcist, he is training, he takes things seriously, he is of a rank that he should not be for his age, because he is so serious and has been training for so long. And because of that, he's a very serious, very stoic young man who kind of forgets that he is a teenager. And that just reflects Chongyun so much. So again, I put those two together. And then the final one for this video and for this installment, because I do still have more written down, but I'm going to run out of time before I can go through them all. But the final one is a character who officially has not yet been released as a character, but the fact that she's been introduced, has had a couple of quite major parts in storylines, and has been shown to have a vision, which 99% of characters that are like that eventually will come in as a playable character, is Sigewinne. And it's a bit on the nose, but the book that I've chosen for her is The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni, because she is the prison healer. The Fortress of Meripede, she is the healer. She is the one that is in charge of the health of all of the prisoners and everyone that works there, and she just does it in such a fantastic way. In The Prison Healer, our main character is a prisoner herself. She is not, Sigewinne is not, but it's just this idea of, the prison healer. I couldn't not. So there you have it. Those are a few more book recommendations based off of the characters from Genshin Impact. Please let me know in the comments what you thought, and if you think of any other books for any of these characters, please do let us know. Next time round, I will add in the few that I missed off for this round. And yeah, hopefully next time it won't be nearly 2 years before I do the next installment. It will be a few more months, so we'll have a few more characters brought out. But there are still so many characters that I'm yet to talk about. There's just so many characters that I love. There will be at least one, if not two more installments of this. I'm having a great time thinking of books for these characters. It's a great time. A couple of them have given me a headache, but I have overall been really enjoying doing this series. Please let me know if there are any other series you'd like me to do, like maybe some Tekken books, maybe Final Fantasy. Let me know if you would like me to keep doing this, because I'm having fun and it will be fun to do other characters from other things. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed that one. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content from me. Please also check out my Patreon that recently came out. If you play Genshin Impact, let me know who your main team is. Currently, my main lineup is Gaming, Kazuha, Bennett and Wriothesley, but that's only until I get Neuvillette, and then I will probably replace Kazuha with Neuvillette for now. We shall see how it goes. Anyway, hope you're all good, hope you're staying safe, and until next time, bye!